Hello everybody, hello. This is Chris Barron for the 28th of October 2020. How are you guys? I'm dead tired. I had a really busy day, extremely tired, but maybe I'll get into that a bit later on. Before we get started, I just want to say that I'm not all that happy with one thing in particular. The fact that you might know that I've done a secret project for Adobe, and that secret project, unfortunately, it's partially live as far as I know. But unfortunately, due to Adobe Max, it wasn't given the right attention. So I'm sorry to say I can't give you any links regarding that. But hopefully in the next couple of weeks, everything is going to get sorted out and you'll get to see what I created for Adobe directly. I can't tell you too much about it, but yeah, you should know that I worked directly with Adobe on a secret project a couple of months ago, and now I'm starting another one. And unfortunately, as it's the case with major companies, I have an NDA. NDA stands for non-disclosure agreement, so basically I can't tell you too much about it. So that's quite unfortunate. So that's one of the things that I've been working on quite a lot these couple of days. And yeah, other things we'll get into that a bit later on. Now let me share my screen because I really want to talk to you about a potential problem, a pretty big one actually. It's something quite unfortunate that it really tells me a lot about the level of competition on design platforms like 99 Designs and Design Crowd. Now, before we get into it, it's about how you select your contests, right? But more than that, more than how you select your contests, it's about the level of competition that you're facing, right? Because the problem, how I see it, is that you look at Behance, you look at Dribbble, you look at various design galleries, and you see these guys that are amazing, right? You see designers that are incredibly skilled and they manage to create some awesome looking websites, and yours probably aren't at the same level, right? And because of that, a lot of people don't want to participate in design competitions. And my advice is jump straight in. This is what I've been saying for a couple of weeks now. Jump straight into it. Now, why should you jump straight into it? Because some of the competition creates even worse designs than what you guys are creating, right? I'm constantly looking at review my work, and some of these entries are quite good, right? And you can definitely win. But let's jump straight into it, and I'll tell you basically in under 20 minutes. Hopefully this time I'm gonna be under 20 minutes. Why this is the case? So here's a competition, right? Now, this specific contest, as you can see, it's not really well formatted and whatnot. This specific contest was brought to my attention by one of my students. Now, one of my students wanted to participate in it, and it was quite unfortunate because this is actually a logo competition. And if you do a Control F and you type logo, you're gonna see it says logo here in the title. I think initially it didn't say logo, then logo here and here and here and here, and then another time here and another one here, right? So why am I telling you all this? Because the student, my student, who is actually quite bright, I mean, by any stretch of the imagination, he's a normal person with his head on his shoulders. He thought that this is a web design competition, and he thought that this is actually a design competition where you have to create the website and the logo. Now, how he arrived at that conclusion is something that I won't really get into. As far as I know, I think he browsed the web design jobs, as you can see here, and he saw it, and he then just immediately assumed that because this is a web design job and because the price is fairly high for this platform and for the one page, that this is a web design competition. So again, the category and the fact that it says one page here convinced my student that this is a web design competition. Now, obviously, you guys may laugh. You may say, "Okay, man, that's really dumb. Why would you not see that this is actually for the logo contest?" But this is the type of competition that you're getting. This is what I point out. Not the mistake of my student, but the sheer fact that, you glance at a page and you think it's something, when it's actually something completely different. This is the competition that you're facing. People that constantly read something quite fast, they don't fully understand it, and then they design something that doesn't make any sense. So this is why I urge you, please jump into it. Jump into design competitions. Don't wait. Don't create dummy designs. Now, when I asked my student about it, he was fairly confident that this is again a web design competition. And I asked him why. And he said again, the category, the fact that this says one page, and then he told me, hey Chris, check this out. So this guy said the following, asked the following question. This guy is just a designer. Let me know if you need a design, PSD only, a design only, or coded website, right? So this seems like a fairly standard question. You know, does he want the completed project or just the design in Photoshop, right? And then the client says the following, only a design as described. Only a design as described. And again, my student interpreted this, oh, it's a design, it's a web design competition. Now, again, I really want to stress this point. My student, you shouldn't make fun of him. The thing is, when you're facing all these people, you know, when you see whatever, 20, 50, 60 entries, look, 39 entries here by 5 designers, I mean, again, the level of competition is so low, it's so incredibly low. This is why if you have a look at 2 or 3 of my courses, I mean, it's unfathomable that you can't win design competitions because it's, again, the level of competition is so low. Now, admittedly, 99 Designs has now a higher barrier of entry. It's now more difficult to get accepted. But once you get accepted, it's the same thing there. There are countless designers who constantly make these types of mistakes, that read something and they don't understand it correctly, right? So when you're facing a competition where you already see 20 or 40 other designers, don't worry about it. A good chunk of them are complete beginners. Others have some experience, but because of various reasons, maybe they're tired, maybe whatever, they glance over the brief, they don't understand it, and they create something totally at random. So that's one thing that I really wanted to point out. Now, the next thing that I want to point out is the fact that, okay, after I had a discussion with my student about this specific brief, he chose this one, right? Now, let's have a good look here. Now, this one is quite difficult to read, right? You obviously need to concentrate and see what's what here, right? So this isn't all that great for us as designers. This is something that we don't really like to read, right? This is a wall of text. Now, on the flip side, have a look at this one, right? The price is fairly decent. I think it's only for, only one page. But look here, a monthly subscription company. Need the Shopify website design and upload it to fully work with bold subscriptions. Please look at these websites. Now, I just said you should jump into it. You shouldn't waste your time trying to make, practice designs and whatnot. But this is basically impossible. This is something that I would say, unless there aren't any other design competitions out there, you should avoid at all cost, because this is extremely limited. There's nothing here for you to go on. These 4 websites, whatever they may be, they're not enough. You don't know what type of product they're selling. You don't know if this is relevant, if bold subscriptions is something that's relevant. I have no idea what that is. So I'm really big into e-commerce, but I've never actually worked, I've never actually had a Shopify CMS. Basically, Shopify, in simple terms, it's something similar to WordPress, right? You have WordPress, you have Magento, you have Shopify, you have various platforms, right? Where you can actually create a website and do various things, right? Squarespace, whatever, right? Now, again, I don't know what bold subscriptions is. This is a coding technique, so it really, I don't think it's gonna affect you. And Shopify website design, again, this shouldn't impact you. A while back on 99 Designs, there was a category, there was a separate category. It was web design and WordPress design, right? And people were really confused about it. I actually messaged 99 Designs and I spoke with several people about it. What's the difference? And in essence, there's no difference. Basically, for the clients, it makes them feel more assured. This isn't the official response, obviously, but I'm just telling you how it is. So when you see WordPress design versus website design or versus landing page design, it's basically the same thing. For you, it really doesn't matter, right? Because whatever you do, whether it's in Photoshop or Sketch or Adobe XD or whatever else, it doesn't really matter on which platform you implement it, right? So again, your design can be created in any platform by, a skilled coder. So the fact that this is a Shopify platform doesn't really matter. The fact that this is a bold subscription, which I have no idea what that is, again, is not something that is gonna be a potential problem. But this to fully work, this is the problem, right? Those two words, to fully work. So if you ask me, I would say there's probably a 90% chance of this being a refunded contest. A contest that won't get awarded simply because of these two words. Now, assuming that this wasn't the case, that he just wants a website design and that's it, so just a Photoshop design, that's it. Again, this is not enough. This is the hallmark, this is the sign of a lazy contest holder, right? It's impossible to work with these people because it's just like saying, I want a website for my store. Well, what do you sell? I can't tell you that. Okay, then how am I supposed to do it? You figure it out, I'm too busy. Well, if you're too busy to actually write a decent brief, I can't help you. Now listen, again, entrepreneurs are extremely busy. I get that because I'm one of them myself. If you write your existing website and you just say, okay, you want it revamped and you like this site and this site and this site, then that works. But again, if you don't mention that information, the existing website, again, this is impossible. This is not a brief. This is a waste of time, basically. So unless there aren't any other contests on this platform, please don't go for it. Please watch out for the red flags. It doesn't get much redder than this. This is the flag of China. This is an incredibly huge red flag. Please don't participate in this specific one. So yeah, that's what I really wanted to talk to you guys about. It's something that's, again, for me, when I was choosing design competitions on 99 Designs, I was getting constant contests like these ones, some that had literally pages of information, loads and loads of information, and most people weren't up to reading them. They just didn't want to read them. So that was an opportunity. And on other sides, I could see some people that weren't really into it. That, it was the first time on 99 Designs or whatever, and you could see there would be a high chance of getting a refund. And this is a clear-cut example here. So, again, my advice is you have to be careful about it, because there's one thing to actually be great at designing websites, and it's another thing to actually find decent competitions. You can be the greatest guy in the world, the greatest designer in the world. If you're not finding decent clients that are actually willing to help you out a bit, you're not gonna get anything done. So yeah, that's the essence of this live stream. Now, just want to tell you a few things about some other things regarding my oatmeal company here in Romania. This is why I'm actually that tired, because of the Adobe project. So that's one thing, the Adobe secret project. But yeah, I just had an inspection basically from some health officials. It's something that happens every year, every 2 years, something like that. And obviously, when someone comes in and they have to check everything, you're a bit nervous, right? Even if everything is incredibly clean, even if everything is well sorted, you still have some issues. And this being something food related, it really took a long time to actually go through everything. So yeah, these past 3 hours, 2 hours and 45 minutes, I spent with the inspector just going through everything. Here's the kitchen, here's this, here's that, here's absolutely everything. How do you make the milk? How do you store the oats? How do you create them? How do you store them? How do you ship them? So this is the thing that I've been doing for these last 3 hours. This is why I wasn't being active on Discord. Really difficult stuff, really draining stuff. Yeah, so this is why I'm not as active as I'd like to. but hopefully that's gonna get sorted. Again, this is something, this inspection comes up every 12 to 20 to 24 months, 1 year, 2 years. So hopefully that's all sorted, and that's all great. So on one end, that's what I did in the middle part of my day. In the first part of the day, I just spent a whole lot of time on the new Google Analytics, and basically this is not the correct one. This is the old one, but basically Google Analytics has a new version, and this new version has a ton more information. And you might ask, Chris, why the hell do we care? We're here to learn about Photoshop and design and whatnot. But I think one of the most important things that you can do to get from $200 to $4,000, $5,000 is to work a bit with analytics and work with your clients to improve the conversion rate. I think I spent so many, I mean, look, for example, yesterday I had a conversion rate of 6%. The industry average is about 2%. This is crazy, right? And again, for those designers here that constantly post good work on review my work in that specific channel, I think that's the best way to go about it. I'm sure that you have some websites that you in your country, local websites that are absolutely horrible, but people, you know, they're still very popular websites basically, but they're horrible. They're stuck back in 2005. You need to get in your portfolio some case studies. That was the word. Sorry about that. Case studies. Just do it once. Just find any friend and any family member, anybody who has an e-commerce store, and just try and improve the conversion rate. If you manage to do that, I promise you, you're gonna get a whole bunch of money from other jobs. But what was the most important thing is to do at least one case study where you take some screenshots of the existing website, and then you start doing various things. You modify the checkout process, you modify the buttons, you modify the colors, you modify how the content is being structured. You do all sorts of things, and then you constantly check this thing out, right? And as long as you do that, I promise you, you don't have to be a superstar designer. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just look at Mastered Web Design in Photoshop, where I describe in detail what I've done with my specific website. Just do the following. Show a graph, show a screenshot of something like this, right? You see how nice this is? Show something like this. Add this to your Behance profile, and I promise you, clients are gonna fight over you. I promise you that you're gonna get tons of jobs. Because again, I think one of the things that not a lot of people tell you on YouTube or various courses, a lot of people focus on, you know, typography and getting, you know, matching colors and the color schemes and whatnot. And should we use a Mac? Should we use Windows? Should we use whatever? It doesn't really matter. Results are what matter, right? And if you're dealing with people that don't appreciate great web design, because this is the case here, if you check out Review My Work, I think you're gonna see that some design competitions are won by inferior contests, or maybe it was the 99 Designs one. In any case, it doesn't really matter. You'll see that not a whole lot of people appreciate designs the way they should, because obviously it's a subjective thing, right? It's a subjective thing if you like that one or that one, right? But if you really want to stand out, if you really want to do something, please don't learn Sketch, don't learn Illustrator, don't learn Webflow, because that's a big thing that people constantly ask me about. Hey Chris, should I learn Webflow? Should I learn how to code? No, you shouldn't. You should be able to show your value in a handful of screenshots, right? And obviously your portfolio is part of that. But what if your client is an older gentleman or woman who doesn't really care about, you know, various modern, sleek websites, about white space and symmetry and whatnot? How can you do it then? Well, it's simple. You do some Google Analytics. You show how you grew the revenue, for example, right? Or how you grew the conversion rate or whatever, right? It's these types of things. And again, look, if you may say, okay, Chris, you know, I'm not really big on Google Analytics. I don't have anyone that's really active on Google Analytics. I have no idea how to set up events and whatnot. Because please keep that in mind. It is a bit technical. You do have to do several things to actually make sure that the events are registered correctly. But then, okay, do the following. This is my This is my Facebook profile, right? And look here, look at these values, right? Plus 60%, plus 50%, plus 49%, right? Now again, just add this to your portfolio. It's as easy as that. Start creating. Look at the course, practical 40 practical projects in Photoshop, where I teach you how to create social media posts and then constantly post. Take any business, again, no matter if it's for free, whatever, it doesn't really matter. You know, go and see how many times we post, and we post loads, especially on Instagram, but on Facebook as well, various articles and photos and whatnot. Just post like crazy, right? And that's that. And if you can add something, if you just take a screenshot here and just show this in your Behance profile, what you managed to do to your designs, you're golden. You're golden. You don't need to learn Webflow or Illustrator or whatever the hell else. You don't need to do that. All that you need to do is to create some nice social media profiles, and that's it. So again, you know, you have so many avenues here. Your entire life can change based on something so simple, you know, done just in Photoshop alone. Just focus on something, choose a lane, and that's that. Again, you don't need to reinvent anything. You don't need to learn how to code. Now, obviously, you could learn how to code. Obviously, you could be a brain surgeon. But is it really something that you're passionate about? Is it really something that you enjoy doing? Because this is the thing. I enjoy working in Photoshop. I love creating awesome stuff, right? So then why would I waste my time, you know, learning whatever else? Again, Webflow or whatever, you know? Just look, create, go watch this course, 40 practical projects. And these are all social media things that you can post on social media day in, day out, that you can bang out in a couple of minutes, because that's the thing. If you really want to get these high numbers, what you have to do is you have to constantly post. To constantly post, you have to create whatever, 3, 4, 5 pieces of content each and every day. Now, how do you create that? Well, obviously, you need to watch a course, especially this course, and then just bang them out. Just bang them out. So again, if you really want to be successful, you don't need to do a whole lot. What you have to do is you have to make sure that you have something for everybody. You need to have some decent designs for those people who obviously appreciate a portfolio. You know, some sleek designs that are actually nice to look at. You don't have to have many, 4, 5, 6 entries, something like that. And then, if it's at all possible, show results, right? Show what happens to the businesses after you get involved. Show, again, analytics from Instagram, from Facebook, from Google Analytics, from MailChimp, whatever. Just show some growth. And you don't have to have crazy numbers like I have here, right? Because again, 50% out of 40,000, that's huge, right? Or 60% people reached 500,000. So these are huge numbers, right? You don't need to have that much. I mean, most business owners, you know, if you ask for whatever, $1,000 for the 5% increase and whatever, most people are really happy with that small amount, right? Because that small amount may actually be quite a lot of business. Because again, you know, if I'm selling whatever, $5,000 of product per day, 10% of that is $5,500, right? $500 plus the extra, right? So your fee of $1,000 is nothing. It's 2 days, right? So that's how you should think of it. At least that's my advice, right? If you watch, you know, if you listen to what everybody else is saying, that's totally fine. You know, again, learn how to code, learn WordPress, learn PHP, learn Webflow, learn InDesign, get a MacBook, get Sketch, whatever. That's totally fine if that's what you want, if your heart is set on that. But my advice, if I have $0 in my bank account right now, I would absolutely choose any business at random. Just, you know, have a look at their numbers or what they're posting, especially the ones that are actually advertising on Facebook. And I would say, hey, I'm Chris, I'm a designer. I think I can grow your social media presence by creating loads of designs for you. Only thing I ask, let me do it for 2 weeks for free. And then if you like it, you can pay me. The price is going to be whatever, $500 per week, whatever. That's it, right? Tell them you're going to do it for free for a certain period. Then say the exact amount that you're going to charge. Because then they might be scared because you might ask whatever, $5,000 per month or whatever. Don't scare them, right? Depending on the business, you have to make sure it's something that's worth it. But what you have to do is you have to make sure that it's worth your time. You have to make sure that it's a certain dollar amount that makes sense. And you know what? If those 2 weeks, if you don't manage to actually increase their presence, no worries. You just got a portfolio. You just got a portfolio. So then it's a win-win situation. So that's my advice for you guys. Make sure you jump into the game as often as you can, as soon as you can, sorry. And remember, when you see a very crowded contest, remember that some designers simply don't read enough. And they submit something that doesn't make any sense. So even though you're seeing loads of designs or loads of designers, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't participate. It just means that a whole bunch of them are not 100% focused. A whole bunch of them didn't understand the brief, and I can assure you, let me end with this because we're at the 26-minute mark. Let me end with this. If there's one thing in particular that I was doing when I was winning contests left and right, which again, if you know my story, you should know that I shouldn't have won as many contests as I did because I had 3 months experience. Those guys had 3 years of experience. So I was winning in front of much better designers with loads of experience, and their portfolios were fantastic, and I was still winning. Now, one of the things that I was constantly doing was, man, if I read this, I'm gonna think to do the following. I'm gonna do the following design, and then I paused, and then I would ask myself, what will everybody else do? What's everybody else gonna design? How can I outsmart them? And just that angle alone, I think gave me an edge. Obviously, my discipline and various other things, my speed and whatnot, those actually helped. But again, when you read something, you have to consider what's everybody else gonna do. How are these designs gonna look like? Because then you have to think about it. If you're gonna go toe to toe, for example, you're basically gonna lose. So if we're both gonna design whatever, the sleek website, a tech website, right? And you check out my portfolio, and I already have 20 other designs that are far more polished, far more refined than what you're constantly creating, you're not gonna win in front of me, right? You're not gonna be able to beat me because that's my game, that's my expertise, right? But if you already know that, if you have that information, if you think about what I'm gonna create, because listen, everybody has a style. That's the thing that you may not realize. Every designer has a certain style. And if you have the option to actually see their portfolios, that's fantastic. That's incredible information. But even if you don't, you just have to sit there and think, what's everybody else gonna design? So based on this brief, what's everybody else gonna design? How can I surpass them? How can I get ahead of them? What are they gonna do? What colors are they gonna use? What type of layout are they gonna use? How can I one up them? So that question alone should change a lot of things. And with that, I'm dead tired. I'm gonna retire. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope this has been helpful. And on Sunday, hopefully I'll have a bit more energy because right now I'm beat. It's 6:30 p.m. and I need a cup of coffee. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is Chris. I love you. Please win loads of money, make great designs, and change your life through Photoshop because, again, it's really in your power. And I wish you all the best. That's all that is, I do mention my courses sometimes, practical 40 projects, whatever, mastered web design and Photoshop. But truth be told, you probably already have those courses. It's not about me selling. It's about you actually getting results and getting massive amounts of success, because that's one of the things that people don't really understand. Let me just tell you this quick thing before I go. People here in Romania were constantly asking me, hey Chris, if you are such a great designer and if you are winning design competitions left and right, why would you get more competition? Why would you train your competition? Why would you share all your secrets and everything else that you did with everybody else? Well, first of all, because there's enough for everybody. There's enough for everybody. It's not just 99 Designs. It's not just Design Crowd. There's loads of opportunities absolutely everywhere. Loads of companies that constantly open, that close, that revamp, that change. there's more than enough to go around. That's the first thing. So that's why I have no fear in actually, training my competition, because there is no competition. I'm the only competition, right? And the second thing is, what I teach, it's nothing really, it's not a secret. It's not a technique. That's not something that you can do and just like that. Everything that I'm saying is stuff that's really hard, that's really difficult. Because obviously working for free for whatever many hours for the company to create social media, working, grinding, 50 design competitions to actually only win 4 or 5, that's hard work. So I'm not really scared of anything, of someone taking my job or anything like that, because at the end of the day, all that I'm speaking about is hard work and smart work, obviously, and working long enough. So because of these two reasons, I have no, I'm totally open. I'm an open book. If you ask me how I did it, I'm gonna talk to you for 20 hours about it. I'm gonna tell you step by step how I did it. I'm gonna tell you the essence of how you can do it as well, right? It's nothing mysterious. There's nothing, behind the paywall. Buy that course and then you're gonna find out. No, this is why I'm doing all these live streams, because at the end of the day, if at least one person changes his life through design, through Photoshop or whatever, the same way I did, I'm totally happy, because again, everything that I've built, everything that I have, this nice apartment, everything that I have, a career, a book, whatever, a businesses, everything that I did through Photoshop. And if you can do it, on the other side of the road or right next to me, then more power to you. That's the best thing that I can think of, creating more competition and getting more people to actually, get some awesome results and, make the best out of their lives. That's the best thing that I could wish for. So yeah, that's why I'm sharing everything, even though, it's in this, 724 ATP format and, buggy audio and whatnot. It is what it is, right? Anyway, I'll see you on Sunday with some new things to talk about. And until then, I wish you all the best. Have a great day. Thank you.